Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to help get you ready for those customer success manager interviews.
Yeah.
Um, we've got a fantastic article here that goes through 25 typical interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really awesome because, it doesn't just give you, the surface level answers. It really digs deep into, what the hiring manager is trying to figure out about you with each question.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of like a cheat sheet to understand the whole process.
Exactly. It's like a decoder ring for the interview.
I like that,
Decoder.
Okay, so before we get lost in the questions themselves,
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful to zoom out for a sec and just, for anyone who might be new to this whole world,
Sure.
can you explain what does a customer success manager actually DO?
Yeah.
What
Right.
makes this role, so important, especially in today's world with,
Absolutely.
subscription services and all that?
Yeah. So think of it this way. So you sign up for a software service. Okay. The customer success manager is your guy, your advocate within that company.
Okay.
They're there to make sure you're not just using the software, but that you're actually getting value from it.
So they're not just tech support.
Right.
They're more like strategic partners almost.
That is a great way to put it.
Okay.
They build those relationships, they solve problems, and they really help you get the most out of your investment.
Gotcha.
And from the company's perspective, they're absolutely key for reducing what we call churn when customers cancel their subscriptions.
Right.
And of course, driving growth.
Makes sense. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's jump into these questions.
Okay.
The article very cleverly groups them by the skills they're trying to assess.
Right.
So the first cluster is all about partner management and onboarding.
Okay.
And question number one is, how do you maintain relationships with partners?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that one's trying to get at,
Yeah.
more than just, do you send holiday cards?
It goes way beyond that. It's really about understanding your communication style. How do you build trust?
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach, different personalities and needs? The example answer in the article talks about regular communication,
Okay.
but it's not just about, how often you're communicating. It's really about personalization.
Right.
They even talk about a CSM who actually customized the entire quarterly review process
No.
for a particular partner who had a new contact,
Mhm.
and that prevented all these potential issues.
That's such a good point.
Yeah,
Because it's like anyone can schedule a meeting.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
it's that extra level of thoughtfulness that
Yeah.
can really, make or break it.
Exactly. Now, question 2 focuses on onboarding.
Okay.
And I want to get your take on this one.
Yeah.
What makes a great onboarding experience for a customer?
Yeah.
And how does that translate to a good interview answer?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah.
Because I remember this one time I signed up for the service and the onboarding was so confusing, I almost quit before I even started. So yeah, I'm all ears.
Well, think about it. Onboarding is that first real interaction that a customer has with your company after they sign up,
Right.
right? And it really sets the tone for everything that follows.
Yeah.
This question is really trying to understand, do you get that?
Okay.
What's your process for educating customers?
Mm.
And how do you collaborate with different teams to really nail that onboarding experience?
Yeah. And the article mentions creating a customized training program that actually sped up the setup time for new clients.
Yeah.
That's quantifiable
Exactly.
results right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about doing the steps. It's about showing how you can improve the process.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to questions 3 and 4. And these fall under the umbrella of growth and expansion.
Okay.
CSMs are often seen as that front line for driving revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, they're the ones who are really in the trenches with the customer.
Oh.
They know what they're struggling with. They know what they love, what they wish they had.
Exactly.
So that seems like a gold mine for identifying those growth opportunities, right?
You hit the nail on the head. So question 3, how do you identify opportunities for expansion? Really wants to know, can you think analytically?
Mm.
Can you spot trends?
Right.
Can you connect those dots between the customer's needs and potential solutions?
It's not just about selling more stuff.
No.
It's about really understanding what's going to help that customer grow their business
Exactly.
or achieve their goals. Right?
Absolutely. And I love the example they gave in the article about the CSM who noticed a spike in the usage of a particular feature.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they used that as a springboard to upsell the client
That's smart.
to a higher tier that included more of what they clearly needed.
Yes.
Right?
That's proactive problem solving
Exactly.
and using data to back it up.
Yes. Love it. Okay. So question 4 dives into strategic initiatives.
And they want to know, what have you actually led?
Yeah.
around, education growth or even churn reduction.
Yeah.
What are they getting at with this one?
It's really about showcasing your leadership skills. It doesn't have to mean that you were formally managing a team,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really about how you took ownership, how you drove positive change within your role.
Gotcha.
And the example they gave in the article was a CSM who developed this whole customer education program.
Wow.
And it significantly reduced churn for the company, I bet, that caught the interviewer's attention.
For sure, because it shows you're not just like reacting.
Exactly.
You're preventing.
Yeah.
You're proactive. You're taking initiative.
Love it. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about customer health and churn reduction.
Okay.
And questions 5 and 6 really dig into this.
All right.
This is where it gets a little more intense,
A little bit.
right?
But think of customer health like a vital sign. If a patient is healthy, they're unlikely to need to go to the doctor.
Similarly, a healthy customer is less likely to churn. So question 5 really wants to know, what are the signs that you look for
Right.
to assess that customer health? What are those red flags that make you say, this customer needs a little extra TLC?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So they want to know that you understand the metrics,
Right.
but also that you're looking beyond the numbers and understanding the customer's experience.
Exactly.
And they give an example about looking at things like, engagement levels, how often they're using key features.
Yeah.
Are they actually taking advantage of new updates?
Right.
All that good stuff.
Exactly. And then question 6 gets even more specific.
Okay.
They want to know, what have you actually done
Okay.
to reduce churn?
Yeah.
So this is where you get to share those war stories.
Yeah.
The article had this great example about a CSM who reduced churn from 5% to 2%, which is huge GE,
Wow.
by using data to identify those at-risk customers and then proactively reaching out to them with targeted support.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it really demonstrates that data-driven approach,
Yes.
which is so essential in customer success today.
Okay, so before we move on to the next cluster of questions, I'm curious, what are some common mistakes you see people make when answering these first few questions?
Oh, the good one.
And, what advice would you give to someone who wants to really knock these out of the park?
Yeah. One common pitfall is being too general.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, oh, I have excellent communication skills.
Right.
Give a specific example of how you use those communication skills
Okay.
to resolve a challenging situation with a partner or a customer.
Love it.
Numbers are also your friend.
Yes. Right.
Okay. Quantify your impact whenever possible. Did you increase customer satisfaction scores?
Right.
Did you save the company money by reducing churn?
Gotcha.
Those kinds of details really make your answers stand out.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a quick breath, and then we'll dive into the next set of questions when we come back.
Sounds good. All right, so we're back, and we're really going to dig into how customer success managers can help drive revenue growth for a company.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Questions 7 and 8 in this article really hit on that.
Yeah.
So question 7 asks about, a time that you actually achieved, a specific increase in MRR, monthly recurring revenue.
Okay.
This feels kind of high stakes.
It is a big one.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some key things to keep in mind when you're answering this one?
Well, it's about showing that you can think strategically and you can take customer insights and translate them into real revenue growth.
Okay.
The article highlights a CSM who achieved a 30% increase in MRR, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is how they did it. They used a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
They looked at targeted upselling and cross-selling initiatives, but they also worked really closely with the sales team and even implemented a customer referral program.
So it's not just about individual effort.
Right.
It's about understanding how to leverage different resources and collaborate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that they quantified the impact with the 30%.
Yeah, numbers speak volumes.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Okay, so question 8 shifts gears a bit, and it asks about your experience.
Okay.
Managing direct reports.
All right.
Why is leadership considered such a crucial skill
Yeah.
for CSMs, even if they're not in a formal management role?
Well, leadership isn't just about titles or hierarchies.
Right.
It's really about influence, mentorship, and inspiring others.
Yeah.
CSMs often find themselves leading projects, initiatives, or just setting a positive example for their peers.
So even if you haven't had direct reports, you can still talk about times when you've mentored a colleague
Absolutely.
or taken initiative to improve a process or something like that.
Yeah, and the example they gave in the article was a CSM who mentored a junior colleague
Cool.
who then excelled and went on to a leadership role.
That's great.
That's impactful.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, brace yourself,
Oh boy.
because questions 9 and 10 get into something that can be a little bit challenging, which is handling those difficult situations as a CSM.
Yeah.
So question 9 asks about a time when a client complaint didn't go well.
Oh.
What's the thinking behind that kind of question?
Well, hiring managers understand that no one's perfect
Right.
and that things don't always go smoothly.
Yeah.
It's really about how you learn from those setbacks and apply those lessons going forward. This question is trying to assess your conflict resolution skills, your problem-solving approach, and your resilience when things get tough.
So it's about showing that you can take ownership,
Right.
analyze what went wrong,
Exactly.
and use that experience to improve.
Absolutely.
No.
And the example they gave was a client who actually churned
Yeah.
because of feature limitation.
Okay.
And the CSM was honest about the situation,
Right.
but they highlighted what they learned from it about managing expectations and really advocating for the customer.
Yeah, turning that negative experience
Exactly.
into a learning moment.
It happened.
Okay, so question 10 asks about your involvement in the customer feedback loop.
Okay.
What are some key points to highlight when you're answering this one?
I think it's really about showing that you're not just passively collecting feedback,
Right.
but that you're actively using it to drive change.
Right.
They want to know, are you a true advocate for your customers, and can you take their feedback and turn it into actionable insights? The example they gave in the article was fantastic.
Oh, good.
The CSM gathered feedback through surveys, through direct conversations.
Okay.
But then they championed a new feature that was based directly on customer input.
Wow.
And they persisted, they worked with product teams, leadership teams,
That's awesome.
until that feature became a reality.
No, that's a good story.
It is.
Okay, question 11 shifts gears completely.
Oh, really?
It asks you to imagine you've landed the job
Okay.
and outline your 30-day plan.
That's a good one.
This feels like a chance to really shine.
Yeah, it does.
What advice would you give someone tackling this question?
Well, it's tempting to jump right into those specific tasks that you'd want to tackle,
Yeah.
but you really need to show that you understand the company's goals.
Right, the big picture.
Yes, how customer success aligns with those objectives.
Okay.
So start by showing that you're strategic, you're proactive, talk about meeting with key stakeholders,
Right.
assessing current processes, and identifying some quick wins that'll demonstrate your value.
Love it. So you're not coming in with like a preset agenda.
Exactly.
They're adaptable and eager to learn.
Right. Okay, let's dive into the more technical side of things.
Okay.
Questions 12 through 16. Cover your experience with CSM tools,
All right.
leadership styles, strengths and weaknesses,
Oh, boy.
and challenging workplace dynamics.
Okay, let's start with tools.
Okay.
Why is it so important to be familiar with specific CSM platforms and tools?
Well, customer success managers use a lot of different software tools
Right.
to manage customer interactions, track data, automate processes. The article actually lists a bunch of popular tools, things like Salesforce Gainsight, Intercom, Zendesk.
Okay.
And even if you haven't used every single one of those specific tools,
Right.
it's helpful to at least familiarize yourself with what they do.
So even if you're not an expert in every tool,
Right.
being able to talk about different platforms shows that you're tech savvy
Exactly.
and adaptable.
Absolutely.
Okay, so question 13 asks about your leadership style.
Yeah.
This one can be kind of tricky.
It can be a little bit, yeah.
Any advice on how to approach it?
Well, authenticity is key.
Okay.
Don't try to force yourself into a leadership style
Right.
that doesn't feel genuine. The example in the article really focuses on a collaborative and supportive approach,
Okay.
which I think aligns well with the CSM role.
Yeah.
It's really about highlighting your strengths and how you can empower others to do their best work.
I like that. It's not about fitting into a mold.
Right.
It's about being yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, here come the dreaded strengths and weaknesses questions.
Oh, yeah.
I always get nervous about these. Yeah. What are your top tips for answering these effectively?
Well, for strengths, focus on qualities that are genuinely relevant to the CSM role
Okay.
and back up your claims with specific examples.
Mm-hmm.
The article mentions things like communication, problem-solving, empathy.
Yeah.
These are all essential for a CSM.
Absolutely. And then for weaknesses,
Weaknesses.
honesty is key.
It is, but it's also about showing self-awareness
Okay.
and a desire to grow.
Right.
So instead of saying something cliche like, oh, I'm a perfectionist,
Right.
you could say, I tend to get bogged down in the details,
Yeah.
but I'm working on delegating more effectively.
So you're framing it as an area for improvement.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the article gives an example of someone who's a little too detail-oriented
Mm-hmm.
and struggles with delegation, but they're actively working on it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shows that you're self-aware.
Right.
Okay, question 16 asks about challenging workplace dynamics.
Okay.
This one seems kind of
But
unexpected.
it is a little different.
What are they trying to gauge with this one?
Well, I think they want to see how self-aware you are,
Okay.
how you handle interpersonal situations and conflict in a professional setting.
So it's not just about those technical skills.
Exactly.
It's about being a good teammate.
It is.
The example they give focuses on colleagues who are maybe negative
Yeah.
or uncooperative.
Right.
And it's really about, fostering a positive and collaborative work environment,
Exactly.
but also showing that you can navigate those tricky interpersonal situations
Absolutely.
with professionalism.
Yeah. It's all about finding ways to work effectively with different personality types.
For sure. Okay, let's power through a few more.
Okay.
Questions 17 and 18 focus on your career goals
Right.
and your day-to-day responsibilities in your current role.
Okay.
What are some key things to remember here?
Well, when you're discussing your career goals, make sure they align with the company's mission. And you want to show your enthusiasm for growth within that organization. The example they give talks about wanting to contribute to meaningful projects and work with a passionate team. When describing your current role,
Yeah.
focus on tasks that are relevant to customer success.
Right.
And as always, quantify your impact whenever possible.
So it's about connecting your past experience
Yes.
to this new opportunity
Exactly.
and showing that you're not just looking for a job.
Right.
You're looking for a place to really grow.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's tackle one more cluster.
Okay.
Questions 19 through 22.
All right.
Dive into workload management
Mm-hmm.
and issue resolution.
Okay.
So question 19 asks about the volume of client inquiries you handle daily.
Right.
What's the best way to approach that?
Be honest. Be specific. You don't want to inflate the numbers to sound more impressive.
Right.
It's more important to show that you can manage a reasonable workload and prioritize effectively. The example they give provides a concrete number and mentions prioritizing based on urgency and impact.
So organization and efficiency,
Yes, exactly.
even under pressure.
Right.
Question 20 follows up
Mm-hmm.
and asks about the nature of those inquiries.
Okay.
What are they trying to get at with that one?
This is your chance to show off your product knowledge,
Okay.
your understanding of customer needs, and your ability to troubleshoot and resolve issues.
Okay.
The example mentions a variety of inquiries like technical support, product usage questions, billing issues, and feature requests.
So it's like a little snapshot of your day-to-day.
Exactly.
Okay, question 21.
Yeah.
Ask about your typical KPIs
Okay.
for turnaround time on those client inquiries.
All right.
Why is that important?
Well, it shows your commitment to efficiency and customer service.
Right.
And the example they give is a target of 24 hours for most inquiries
Okay.
and 2 hours for high priority issues.
Wow. So you get it quick,
You do.
but also accurate.
Right. It's about finding that balance.
And finally, question 22
Okay. The grand finale.
asks about the most challenging ticket or complaint you've ever dealt with
Oh,
and how you overcame it.
this is a tough one.
Any tips?
Well, this is another chance to showcase those problem-solving skills
Okay.
and resilience. The example they give involves a major system outage
Oh.
affecting a large client.
Yeah.
It highlights the importance of communication, being proactive in your problem solving and going the extra mile to minimize the impact on that client.
Yeah, because that's a big deal.
It is. They actually offered a complimentary month of service
Wow.
to really show their commitment to customer
I
satisfaction.
love that they went above and beyond
Yeah,
to turn that negative situation into a positive one.
absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here,
We had
but we're not done yet.
No, we're not.
There are a few more questions to explore, and we'll tackle those when we come back for part 3. Okay, we are back and ready to wrap up this Customer Success Manager interview prep deep dive.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've covered a ton of ground already, but there are a few more really great questions in this article that I want to make sure we hit.
Absolutely. Each one gives you another chance to show off those skills and experience.
Exactly. Okay, so question 23 asks about your current team structure, the size and the roles. Why is it important to understand team dynamics as a CSM?
Well, customer success managers rarely work in isolation.
Right.
They're part of a bigger team, and it's crucial to get how that system operates. This question is really testing you on collaboration, organizational structure, and how those different roles work together to achieve shared goals.
So it's all about showing that you're a team player,
Exactly.
that you understand the importance of collaboration and clear communication.
Absolutely. The example answer in the article lays out a pretty typical structure for a CSM team. You've got your CSMs, a team lead support managers, and a head of customer success.
It's like a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly. It shows you understand the bigger picture.
Okay, question 24 comes back to customer feedback.
Ah, interesting.
We talked about it earlier.
Right.
But why do you think they're asking about this again?
Well, we talked about feedback loops, but this time it's about going a step further.
Okay.
It's not just gathering feedback, but actually championing those customer needs within the organization.
This is about being an advocate.
Exactly. It's about showing you can influence decisions.
The example they give in the article is really great.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
The CSM not only gathered feedback, but they also really pushed for a new feature.
Wow.
Based on what their customers were asking for.
That's impressive.
They worked with the product team, the leadership team,
Good for them.
until that feature became a reality.
Persistence pays off.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Question 25.
Okay.
This one asks you to talk about a time when you used data to tell a story to a customer about a potential upsell or expansion opportunity.
Ooh. This is the grand finale.
It is the grand finale.
Yeah.
This is where you bring it all together.
Absolutely. This is about showing those analytical skills, your ability to really make sense of data, and your communication skills all in one.
Because CSMs need to be comfortable with data.
Yeah.
But it's not just about throwing numbers at people.
No.
It's about crafting a story
Right.
that highlights the value.
The benefit of taking that next step.
Excel.
And the example they give is pretty simple, but it's effective.
Okay.
The CSM used usage data to show the customer how upgrading to a higher plan would directly address their needs and help them achieve their goals.
So using data to make it clear.
Exactly. Illuminating the path forward.
Okay. Wow, we covered so much today.
We did 25 questions.
A ton of great insights, and hopefully our listeners feel a little more confident
I hope so too.
about those CSM interviews.
Remember, preparation is key.
Yes.
Study the questions.
Yes.
Practice those answers.
But most importantly, be yourself.
Yes.
Let your passion for customer success shine through, and you'll do great.
Awesome advice. And to our listener, I have one final thought for you.
Okay.
As you're preparing, think about the personal qualities that make you a great CSM.
Yeah.
What are your unique strengths?
What makes you stand out?
Exactly. How would you highlight those things to make you stand out in that interview? And remember, an interview is a two-way street.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's not just them evaluating you, you're evaluating them too.
Right.
Make sure it's the right fit.
Absolutely. Fit is crucial.
You want to find a company that shares your values and a team where you can thrive.
100%.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of CSM interviews.
It's been fun.
We hope you found it helpful and insightful. Good luck with your interviews, and remember, you got this.